Hi, Diego. How are you?
Hey, Mayank, pleasure to be here. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Diego, we've heard about AR shopping or augmented reality shopping multiple times. People trying out glasses virtually through their phone when they are using Warby Parker or trying out clothes, makeup virtually. What exactly is this product when you look at AR shopping? We've heard Snap investing in it, Shopify investing in it. Why don't we talk about this product today? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I loved it. I think it's one of those hot topics that we should definitely talk about. So, absolutely, let's talk about AR.
Fantastic. This is Mayank, and today we'll talk about AR shopping in our pod with our very own guest, Diego. Diego is a product manager at LinkedIn. He is very famous in the product community. We all learn from him and think about product management, how to get into product management. Check him out at PM Diego. He has done an amazing job in connecting with the community. Diego, thank you so much for being on the show. Love to chat about AR shopping with you today.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mayank. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show. I love it. So, I'm super excited to be here today.
Fantastic, Diego. Let's get into it straight away. Diego, what is AR shopping? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, let's start with quickly talking about what is AR and what it is not. So, augmented reality is a technology, and that the idea is that it superimposes a computer generated image on a user's view of the real world. And that's
Mm-hmm.
super important because today, I'm sure probably almost everyone, if not everyone, has experienced AR. But let's make it a very clear distinction. For having AR, all you need typically is your phone and you see something in real life, meaning there's this superimposition of the image. What it's not, and that has to be a very, very hard line, clear distinction. You don't need a headset. We've seen from Facebook things like Oculus, the headset. For those of you who have seen Ready Player One, that's virtual reality, and it's a very different concept.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're talking about AR and how it applies to commerce and how mostly it applies to how we see the products in an image on real life without necessarily touching the product, if that makes sense. So that's super exciting to me.
I love it. I love the way you put it, superimposing it on something, whether it's us or a space. I love that. And Diego, like there has been a lot of developments in this, right? In the recent past, like we have seen Snapchat investing in it as their own AR camera. Where we also think somehow the Apple's investment in their LiDAR technology connects with the world they try to get into, where you can take a picture, they superimpose something in a specific room and you can feel it. Tell us more about the application today. Like, bring us, give it some life now. We understand the technology, but where is it used today?
Yeah, I think you brought a great point where Snapchat is probably one of the applications that we hear the most about, but it's definitely not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, others like Amazon or Wayfair, if you want to purchase a furniture, before you even go to your cart, you can actually visualize through your phone how it would look like on your living room or your bedroom or studio, whatever you want to put that thing to give you more certainty on what the product you're purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
Warby Parker, very famous for shipping to you glasses to your home, trying it on, and then returning them. Now you can do that through your phone by simply putting your camera and pointing it at your face and seeing how those pair of lenses will look on you. So I think that's amazing. Two other quick ones. There is a company called Dulux. So if you want to paint your wall and you're not sure how it's going to look like in your room with the lighting in your room, it will
Mm.
paint the walls for you on AR through your phone. And there's one that I also found recently that this is a new initiative from actually Lego, where they found out that kids were struggling through the whole pandemic of getting entertained. So now they not only can, complete their Legos, but now Lego Hidden Side app actually allows them to do some kind of ghost hunting games for them to be entertained for hours and hours and hours, and depends on what the kids wants to build. So it
Wow.
goes from fashion, sure, but even extending into games, and I just think that it's mind blowing.
Diego, I love that. You know what? Like, I just love the idea of. So, Warby Parker, yes, we have used it. Wayfair Furniture, I think it grew so much on us when we were buying stuff for our new house. It didn't occur to us we are using a new technology. We just took the furniture, turn on the Wayfair camera, and tried to place the chair or the sofa in our room, and you can maximize and minimize to the scale. You know what? I didn't know about the deluxe paint your walls AR feature. That's amazing. Basically, it's replacing the world where we get samples
Yeah.
and we paint on the wall and see how it looks versus just taking a camera and trying it. I'm sure there's some difference between the real feel versus the virtual feel, but it does give us sense of how it might look much better than a picture or a palette that they share. Love it, Diego. Awesome.
Yeah. No, and let me bring up one point that I think you mentioned, and then I have a question for you. But
Okay.
the point is that you talked about how, listen, we're so used to this technology that sometimes we don't even know it's AR. And I think one of the most popular applications for AR that maybe sometimes people may not even know that that's AR is Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go made it so easy and transparent to use AR in our day to day that now AR is almost everywhere. So definitely, I'm sure that if you as you know, you're watching this and you thought that you've never experienced AR, if you play Pokemon Go, that's AR. But now
Love
let
it.
me ask you a question, Mayang. With all of these different examples and all of these different places that we're getting into, it kind of sounds unstructured, like everybody's doing their own thing. How would you suggest that AR shopping as a product can be structured?
Yeah, I think we discussed this, right? Both of you and I were chatting about this before this pod, and it's hard, right? When you talk about AR, a lot of things come to our mind, and we discussed like few pointers. Let me share three, and then you can add to that as well. So the principle here is the structure is based on in what ways we can apply AR to commerce. When you say commerce, we're talking about shopping experiences. So based on the type of experience we can create through AR, we'll have a structure for that. So when you think about your application, you can pick from these. So that's like the principle. Okay, so what are the three things that we thought of? Number one is you can put it on you. So you can superimpose the image or the product on yourself. A good example is Warby Parker glasses. You can click on it and the camera would be already, and you can put it on your face. Same with the makeup. So that's your first category. Put it on yourself, on the person. The second is trying different angles of the same product. So right now, the world we live in is two-dimensional pictures or videos that are pre-captured. But there's a third dimension that is you can navigate and create your own angle. You can check the angle by yourself by rotating the camera or the picture. That's the second one. Try different angles of the same product. You might not think it's AR, but it is still AR, right? Because it's you can look at the bottom of the chair, the top of the chair, and so on and so forth. The second one is trying different angles through AR technology. And the third one is placing it where you want to place. Now, it's not superimposition. It's not turning the angles. You can take the product and place it somewhere. That's where the application comes in furniture, comes in home decor, and so on and so forth. Companies like Wayfair are doing that. If you really want to experience that, check out Wayfair app. It's really well done. I think these are three things I can think of. Diego, what's on your mind beyond these three?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a fourth one would be what I would call in-store experience. Even though I think this could be categorized as, say, location or navigation, we have the example of Google Maps where you can use your phone to do some AR in on the streets, and it will tell you through arrows where to go next, turn right, turn left, and so on and so forth. But since we're narrowing down to commerce, this is an in-store experience. There's a store there's an app called Dent.
Okay.
It's in London. And in 2021 it was developed, and it's about augmented reality in grocery shopping. So if you've gone grocery shopping and you've got lost in the magnitude of the store, then this is an app that, at least to me, is really exciting, because now you can have your shopping list and you can simply navigate the store through AR, knowing exactly where it is located, and boom, you're out in no time. I don't know if this is gonna make the shops happy, because now you're not going to waste time and be like, maybe I want this extra item. But it's definitely great for consumers to have these in-store type of experiences. There's a ton more in-store experiences, of course, but I thought that this one in location was something different that I have not seen. And then very quickly, just a fifth one that I think it's important to acknowledge, that it may not necessarily be in commerce for us consumers, but it's definitely something that is really important for the business-to-business side of augmented reality. Microsoft developing HoloLens that's being used in surgery training, long distance support to install equipments. And part of it is also a hook for companies to sell. Let me give you an example. If I'm a company that manufactures large equipment, something expensive, something that is going to take my customers a long time to decide, having this point of support where I can tell them your issue is going to be resolved really fast because we've got this technology where the technician goes, wastes no time because somebody else remote is guiding them step by step. That could be a good selling point for them. So it still falls a little bit under commerce, but it's more of the B2B ecosystem. I didn't want to leave them out, but let's focus on the top four.
Diego, I love it. So let me just address one more point. I think the in-store experience is a really interesting one. I just read Amazon is investing in building new real fashion stores. So not just the Amazon Go grocery or daily essentials store, but fashion stores. So you can buy shirt there, like your apparels there. And there, what they're doing is that it's all plans where they're using AR technology. So let's say you wear a shirt and you know the fit now. I'm wearing an orange shirt. You can just stand in front of the mirror and change the color of the shirt to a black or a blue or a white. So I think the in-store experience is also interesting, where it's giving you access to a huge collection, which was never possible otherwise. So I love the idea. So just summarizing again, this is an important structure. Put it on a person is the first type of experience in commerce. Try different angles, second experience. Place it where you want, third one. In-store experience to convert offline and amplify that is the fourth one. And to your point, the fifth one is B2B experiences, where you're using AR technology to serve the customer better in a commerce setup. Love that. Awesome, Diego.
Yeah. So now let's move a little bit to the core of what we're talking about this today. And so now that we have our classification, now that we understand a little bit more of the different types of structures that exist around AR, what do you think is the strategy here? Because from a high level, it sounds like everyone's going on their own thing. So what is the strategy for AR in commerce?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, this is not my classic product strategy breakdown today because this is an ecosystem. So we have to look at AR as an ecosystem and then think about the strategy. So that's the point number one. Now let's talk about the foundation again. What is AR for commerce? AR is an enabler for users to get a better feel of the product, which means it's helping users to complete their experience and purchase the product. That's commerce. What it means for the sellers or merchants, more conversion/transaction, because they're closing the gap, online transaction, because they're closing the gap between I see it but I'm not sure about it, versus I see it, I feel it, now I buy it. So that's the principle. Now let's talk about Diego. Anything else you want to add there before I jump in?
Yeah, no, I think thinking of my own experience,
Yes.
sometimes I've bought stuff that when I look at it in the mirror, I just can't avoid sometimes thinking, well, it actually looked really great on the mannequin, but it doesn't look so great on me, right? And so I think that AR is not only about just try it and if you like it, just go and buy it. But I think for the company, what this means is if I'm a customer and I can see the object, right? I don't feel it, but at least I can see how it's going to look like. It brings confidence. And what confidence translates into for a business is retention. I'm going to avoid customers leaving me or not buying my product. I'm going to increase my customer satisfaction because they are aware of the product before they buy it. Of course, that's going to drive more sales. But I think another very important thing here is just by the examples that we're talking about, hey, I can see how that furniture will look like on the corner in my living room. We lower the returns. And that's also a huge cost for companies. And AR, a technology in your phone, is enabling businesses to lower their costs simply by allowing you to see how things will look like in your home.
I think you nailed it. So the two important points here. Number one is specifically about the two things that a merchant cares about is, cost of converting, which is the cost of bring the person to the website, then they convert. So we call it CAC, cost of acquisition. And the second one is return rate. These are expensive. Both of them are expensive. Any technology in the world, any process in the world, any product in the world can reduce any of these, every seller would want to try it if it fits their user experience. And the second one is obviously making it easy for the users. I think, let me add a data point here. So the Google survey on AR, what is the possibility of people using AR if given a choice? From 2019 AR survey, it shows that 66% of people are interested in trying the AR technology. So I think there is some excitement in the market as well. All right, coming back to the strategy now. Let's break it down. So when we talk about strategy, yes, from the ecosystem perspective, we're clear about the problems, the challenges merchants are facing and users are facing. But now the strategy depends upon which part of the ecosystem we're talking about. So we'll start with the 3 or 4 pieces here. Number one, you have to enable creators or the merchants to create technology that helps them show AR experiences. So there's a technology layer attached to it. There's a, like, the Snapchats, the Snaps of the world, the Shopifys of the world. They are the ones who are creating technology that will help merchants adopt and start showing these devices or these products on people's face as a makeup or as glass or a shirt and so on and so forth. So we need more enablers who can create this tech and make it mainstream. That's number one. Their strategy is primarily build more tech, create more plugs for merchants to jump in and use the product. That's number one. Number two is adoption of the technology, which is just building the technology will not help you adopt it. You need to create a layer of platform integration. So what Snap launched recently is pretty interesting. What they're saying is we are building a catalog of products. If you think of e-commerce, it's all driven by catalog. Catalog is like a list of all the products in the database. Now they have, information about the quantity, size, color, so on and so forth. They're adding a new way to also include AR experience within the catalog. That's the way you're connecting technology and helping it increase the adoption by building a platform around it in the commerce world. More of those things will help in increasing the adoption with the seller side. Shopify is a big player in this space where they already have most merchants you can imagine, and the tools they'll create will help in adoption of this technology. And the third piece primarily is about building more devices that can help in creation of these experiences, like what Apple is doing with their lighter technology and so on and so forth. So these three things, when they come together, creation of the AR technology, the right hardware in place to consume and to create more AR experiences, and the last one is adoption of technology. When these three things come together, you have a growth flywheel that kicks in and helps in pushing this forward to the users and to sellers. I'll pause there. Diego, I think we are at time. Let's talk about predictions now, Diego. You are good at that. Tell us more about what's your prediction. Where is this headed?
I love this question because this is a part where we can get creative and just explore different ideas. But here are a few. Let me go through them, and then feel free to jump in and add more color to those. But I think you mentioned one of them, which is Amazon has this experience of building AR into their stores, and so AR to this extended store, I think it's an amazing technology that Amazon might be a pioneer, but I don't see why others won't actually continue growing in that space. So AR as an extended store, in-store experiences for sure. Another one is trying to ramp up to become mainstream, right? Mm-hmm. So we see more and more and more commerce, as you mentioned it. Google, we've got examples from Amazon, Facebook, Shopify. We've got so many competitors trying to, we talked about it, increase customer satisfaction, decrease the cost, increase revenue, increase all of these metrics by building AR. So integrating AR into their core products, I do see that as now a new avenue for companies to not only continue selling, but also offer it as it's going to be as common as many other things integrated today.
Diego, do you think it'll become the third way to look at the products? The one is picture, images. Second, we see videos. And the third scroll shows you AR to experience it. Do you think that's the way, that's the end state we're imagining for commerce?
That's a very interesting point. And let me tie it to another of these predictions, which is a gamified social experience in the stores. So as an example, Burberry actually partnered with Snapchat on an in-store AR game where you go with your friends and you compete in store through an AR experience. But the most interesting thing about that was that the price was not necessarily articles from the store or discounts or something else. It was actually a virtual good. So you would earn some type of virtual good for whatever an online game or a VR. Now that we're talking about the metaverse or something else. And so I think that the combination of a gamified social experience where you start making more interactions in store rather than just trying on clothes or looking at the item, but more in-store experiences like that with people that you go with, plus virtual goods, I think those two are going to start becoming more and more common to, as you said, AR will start to be that next thing in which we consume, in the way that
Love
we
it.
consume products.
Absolutely amazing. Anything else? Any other predictions, Diego? Let's
Yeah,
try one
there's
more. Yeah.
one. Yeah, absolutely. There's one that I actually think that more so than a prediction, it has to be a must for this technology to actually bloom. And that is, think about Lego blocks. A Lego block can be used in many different forms, shapes, to build a castle, to build a car, to build anything else. And the reason why it's so easy to use Legos to build something else is because the form and the shape is very easy to use, and it's the same one across multiple designs. The same thing has to happen with AR. The plug and play APIs have to be, like for example, Stripe for AR experiences, it has to be a building block. It has to enable companies to use AR and consume them in a very easy and simple way. That's going to help bloom this technology, and now small commerces, because right now we heard about big names, but that doesn't stop any small commerces from using it. So plug and
Love it.
play APIs, I think it's going to be an absolutely must have.
Diego, it was a pleasure. Amazing. I loved the discussion with you. Such a rich conversation, so much different perspective. Thank you for being in the show. Folks, please check out Diego's channel. It's PM Diego on YouTube. He is huge in the PM community. You'll learn so much about product management from him. Diego, thank you so much for being there. So every week we talk about new products. Today was augmented reality for shopping. We hope you liked it. We'll see you next time. Bye.